I cook a lot, and that means I eat extravagant meals with exotic ingredients, and I never eat rotten food because I've forgotten to throw it out. That never happens. I've never done that. And I definitely remember to do my dishes before I record a video. My brain doesn't work good. What I had in mind was that I could say, "Hey Siri, label
What's the text?
anything I wanted to print out so that I can label my food."
Any more?
No. Anyway, what did it entail? I bought a label maker that I thought looked cool instead of buying one that I knew had, back-end support, like a way of accessing it with my phone, maybe a Python thing. I'm not that technical. I'm technical enough. I'm not a CS major. Luckily for me, there are CS majors out there. There was a GitHub page made by some people at MIT that just lets you print connected to a Mac. It has its own app, which is it's an alright app. It's pretty decent, but it didn't do what I needed it to do, which was voice activation, which I'll say is an insane thing to need a label maker to do, but I needed that. I got it working on my Mac, which was a whole ordeal. The project was made using an older version of Python, I think. That was the issue. So I had to install it using PyEnv so that it could use an older version of Python to install it and still be able to run it. The next step was to get it from my phone to the Mac. iPhone Shortcuts app, which Shortcuts is a odd feature that iOS has, but you can basically do what's that fucking programming language called where it's like puzzle pieces? You could do one of those basically. You could get oddly deep in the weeds with this. I've seen some shortcuts that are pretty refined in terms of what they do. One feature that Shortcuts has is that you can SSH to a Mac. So I can essentially make my Mac do anything as if I had a command line. There's also a transcribe audio feature for the Shortcuts thing. So I can insert that into the command that I'm sending. Are there problems? Sure, there are tons of problems. I put a loop in at the end so that once you print your label, it will ask if you want any more. And if you say anything that could be interpreted as a really large number, it just won't stop printing and you'll run out of labels. And you have to turn off the server. I'm sure there's a way to interrupt. Don't care. I'm not going to bother. I only needed to make 6 or 7 labels at a time, so it works good. Are there ways to make this faster, more efficient? Yeah, I don't need that. It does what I need it to do. It does it fine. I need it for cooking. I don't know what it is about my brain, but the idea of going to get masking tape and a Sharpie and cutting the tape, writing I've already said 7 things. That's 7 things I have to do. 7 discrete acts so that my food doesn't rot. Where I could just say some words and it'll do it automatically. I don't know. It gives everything in my kitchen a nice aesthetic, I think. I think there's a more consistent look to everything now that there's these... Oh, see, text doesn't wrap. That's another issue. I don't need to bug fix it. I'm going to move on. Did I say that I bought this printer because it looked cool instead of other ones? That gets me in so much fucking trouble. To harp on iPhone shortcuts for a minute, you can do a lot of stuff like Siri, lights off.
All lights are turned off.
That's pretty good, Siri, lights on.
Default activated.
That's good. Thank you to my friends for buying me a KitchenAid after I told them to buy me one. Boy, was I surprised when I got that gift that I asked explicitly for. I need to do more of these Noma fermentation recipes. I made the lacto plums and that was pretty good. That's the bad thing about fermented food, is that you might die.